Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Alanna Fox Starks. As you can tell, I am sitting in La Casa de la Cultura. It's a theater, and I was invited here by somebody who stood me up. Don't you hate that when that happens? Oh my gosh, I hate it so much. Anyway, I decided to have a grilled cheese sandwich, and now I'm drinking the most marvelous cup of hot chocolate caliente, and I love it. One of the great perks of being in Ecuador is that you're never too far away from a great cup of coffee or a great hot chocolate, frankly. So, I don't know. I mean, this guy invited me to an exposition, and there's this picture of butterflies. It's supposed to be this big thing. I couldn't tell from what he sent me if it was like an art gallery thing or if it's going to be an author of a book, and he didn't explain it, and he told me where to meet him, and I waited 25 minutes and he never showed. It's like one of the biggest, this is the second time he's done this to me, so I'm like, forget it. Anyway, it's too bad though, because he's a biologist, he's interesting. I love interesting people. And I met him before, but it took a while to get him to show back up to the restaurant after he left, because he didn't see me right away, and I don't know, maybe he's just shy. People are weird. But I get here to where he said the thing was, it's a festival of guitars, and Ecuador is known the world over for some of the best guitars, handmade guitars in the world. So when I'm done with this hot chocolate, I'm going to go downstairs and check out the guitars. And let me see what the Ascension Symptoms are today. Let me ask my higher audience, are we above 40? Are we above 40? Are we above 90? Are we above 92? Are we above 95? Are we above 98? We're at 99, not at 100. Never at 100, darn it. You would know it if we were at 100. When we get to 100, baby, I'm still going to do the show, but I am not going to have to say the Ascension Symptoms anymore. But we're at 99, the most amount. That makes sense. Today was the third of the largest series of coronal mass ejections from the sun today that we've had in over 2 years. And this is during a solar minimum, so it was expected that we were going to get hit, and we did get hit. I don't know if anyone had any brownouts or blackouts of electricity, but because of the crack in the magnetosphere of the Earth, we are going to have a lot of northern lights activity. I saw some footage of it from yesterday, and we had green, the color emerald green, which is very healing. It's related to the heart, and also pink, and that's also related to the heart chakra. I had some messages of things that I don't want to talk about in public, but I got a massive download today. After 8 hours, I got up, I had my coffee. All of a sudden, my stomach got to hurting really bad, and my head hurt. I felt very sick out of nowhere, and I got bombarded by a massive amount of energy, and that was about the time the coronal mass ejection was supposed to hit the Earth. So what happened was I went back to bed. I went back to bed for 2 hours, and I got a massive amount of downloads from the universe. And when I come back in a moment, when I'm no longer in this theater, I'm going to tell you guys all about it. It's pretty deep. It's very, very profound. But, oh, honey, you're leaving your bolsas? Oh, okay. Okay. These guys just got up and they left their bags, and I'm like, why are you guys leaving your bags here? Oh, I guess they're going out to smoke. I see cigarettes on the table. So anyway, none of my business, but I hate to see people leave their stuff. So anyway, so I got this massive download, and I'm like, what? It's really, really, really deep, but it's kind of a personal thing. I want to get back to my house before I talk more about it. And I will read the Schumann Resonance news, but I'm going to tell you today it's ironic that we had so much plasma and ionic radiation coming from the sun today when I guess it hasn't bounced from the Earth back up to the ionosphere, and the Schumann Resonance isn't very big today. It's probably going to be bigger tomorrow or the next day. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't know if that's related at all. I did want to say something though. There have been a lot of pictures. People have photographed what is called fire rainbows. And Michelle, my friend, who keeps sending me beautiful weird rainbow pictures, I don't think this is what you are seeing, okay? But it's very similar to what you're seeing. A fire rainbow have been seen all over the planet. People have started photographing them recently. They're absolutely beautiful. And they're like a hazy mist that hovers above a cumulus cloud right before a storm. And the cumulus clouds are bright white in nature. And the rainbow, it's like a rainbow, but it's like almost like a secondary cloud above the cloud. But every time these appear, an earthquake occurs. So I wanted you guys to be aware of that, because that's a weird connection that the scientists have started. I want to say it was the NOAA scientists, but now I'm not sure where. I heard the information from Skywatch Media. If you wanted to go, he's talking about the coronal mass ejections from the sun being the most massive ones we've had in 2 years. And then at the end of that report, that he just released it in the past 24 to 48 hours. So at Skywatch Media on YouTube. And he reports directly from the scientists, and he's got pictures of the fire rainbows. They're pretty crazy, but that's the connection. Every time you see a fire rainbow, an earthquake is not far behind. So if you do see one and photograph one, probably don't go inside, well, the building where I live. Don't go into a building that could collapse on you. Maybe just stay outside for the next few hours, because it's almost like a warning from the sky. Remember when I told you we get messages from God, we get messages from the universe and from the nature spirits. And now that we're moving into the fifth dimension, energetically speaking, we are actually going to get more messages. And now that we're able to interpret them, how helpful is that, right? All right, guys, I'm gonna shut this down for right now. At least I started the show. I'm going to come back with the insights, deep insights that I got while slumbering this afternoon luxuriously in my bed and getting massive amounts of downloads from the sun. And then tonight, later on, I'm going to get in a very quiet space, or quietish. There's always going to be the motorcycles and the trucks in the background of my show, unfortunately, until I can build myself a studio. But I'm going to connect with Mary Curie, the scientist who won a Nobel Prize alongside her husband. They discovered radiation. Yeah, pretty crazy, right? Anyway, she's been wanting to talk to me and connect with me for days, and now we're going to get together and do that today. She is deceased. She's been deceased for a while, so I'm going to literally channel directly from heaven. And it's going to be a weird one again, but also hopefully very, very helpful. And she's going to teach us how to protect ourselves against different kinds of radiation and what radiation we need to worry about, what radiation is just basically sending gamma rays and I don't know what else through our DNA to change it. And some of it is good and some is bad and some is just plain out weird. But I'm going to come right back and you'll hear the difference in the background. I just wanted you guys to hear, here I'm having you can hear my spoon on my plate. I'm having my hot chocolate. They don't put sugar automatically in the hot chocolate here, and so I had to add my own. And so it's pretty cool. I like it. I like that. They don't automatically assume you want to, get hopped up on sugar. So, all right, I'll be right back, and then on to those two things I just said, basically. Okay. All right, guys, I am back home again. I hope you enjoyed the coffee house experience. That coffee house was called, it's here in Cuenca, Ecuador. It's called Café Cine. So it's like cinema, like movies, and also coffee. And the place is filled with pictures of movie posters and beautiful, beautiful artwork there's like movie reels that are antique hanging from the ceiling. It's a beautiful place, and the owners are a married couple. They're just a super sweet, amazing couple, and the food is really good. I just had a grilled cheese sandwich, which, I don't know, is that comfort food after you get stood up? I guess, right? Yeah. Maybe more so the hot chocolate was marvelous. But anyway, I just thought it'd be an interesting ASMR style experience for you guys. It was also cool because as I'm walking up these gorgeous marble stairs, I mean, there's marble in the mountains here, and it's like everywhere. It's like you think maybe it's just a South American country. Maybe it's kind of all dirt roads and kind of a little bit run down, like a lot of Central and South America. But actually, Ecuador is very high class. Everything is marble. People have a lot of pride in their appearance, and you don't see old cars on the road. You see, it's all brand new cars. This city specifically, there's like it's very high class. I just did a review for that mansion that was turned into a hotel, and I was reviewing the restaurant, and I took pictures of how much the prices are to stay, and to have a Grand Deluxe suite is $488 a night, so I don't know. I think like maybe the most expensive thing in like Guatemala would be $100 or $150 a night, and that there's probably only 2 places in the whole country that would be that much. But here there's several nice places to stay, really nice places to stay. For me, I travel super cheap. I live in a hostel. I snore my head off while the other 18 people in the same room just hate me. And then I get a free breakfast for that $5. I mean, I just seriously travel on the cheap. Even though I can afford 20 or 30 a night, I can't, for a normal hotel. I like the hostel atmosphere. Sometimes the hostel atmosphere becomes a hostile atmosphere. Well, when I'm snoring too. All right, I know my twin flames out there listening to me right now going, oh God, she snores. Yes, invest in earplugs, damn it. You're going to fall in love with me in spite of that, okay? Just kidding. All right. I want to get to the Schumann Resonance today, and then I'm going to get into the thing that happened to me this afternoon. All right, so it was very easy. At 170 o'clock, it says, second time in a row they put this, instead of 1700, basically 5 o'clock in the evening, UTC time. Light to moderate activity for today. The peak was at 26 hertz at 9:30 a.m. UTC, and the range of activity was from 2 to 12:30 UTC time. So, not much. 26 is good. It's actually a number that refers directly to God, so it's a magical number. But as far as, it's not much as far as hertz is concerned. I mean, it is above where the Earth has been for thousands of years, but it's medium. Has nothing to do with that solar flare. The 3 that hit us in a row, bam, bam, bam. Like in about 5 days, we were hit by 3. Maybe in 4 days, we were hit by 3. Today was a massive one, and I just felt like, and I started feeling really weird. I felt sick. My throat is hurting like hell. And I kind of picked a fight with my kid. I started to pick a fight. He's like not having it because he's spiritually aware and he's awake now too. So he's just like, I don't know what to tell you, Mom. And I'm like, you know what? I tell you what, I'm just going to go to bed now because I just need sleep. I'm going to take an hour. So I slept for about an hour and a half, and I kept snoozing my alarm every 10 minutes for like 40 minutes. Like, I can't get out of bed. And during that time, I don't know who was talking to me. Was it the sun? Was it beings of light surrounding me? Maybe. Was it God directly? I don't know what. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But remember when I told you a few days ago that as a collective whole, we're dealing with the energy of genital mutilation. Well, today I was told that now we're working on the second chakra, no longer the root chakra from a couple days ago. And a lot of people are talking about the root chakra. Well, now we're up to the second chakra. What I was told by I don't even know who, again, beings of light, Pleiadians, I don't know who's telling me this. I was half asleep when I got all this information, okay? So they told me now we have to deal with the second chakra and things that are connected to the first and second chakra, like sexual identity as it relates to sexual violence and the rape culture that we all have been living in for frickin' generations. You know, like the grab them by the pussy mentality. Now you see why I don't want to say this out loud in public, in case anyone understood English there. And I think almost everyone in Cuenca does know English. They don't always speak it, but they all understand it. They're very educated people here. All the people here are smart. I haven't met too many dumb people here, you know. Peru, whole nother story. I don't want to talk about it. I mean, between being dumb and ignorant, I mean, that was the majority of the people I met in Peru. I was just like, I gotta leave now. But here in Ecuador, the majority of the people I meet are very intelligent. At least here in Cuenca, people are very intelligent. They're very bright and they're interested in other worlds and cultures. So I did not want to bring this stuff up in public because people are so sweeting this down. They're very innocent and conservative. So needless to say, I don't really advertise this show here in this city. But so the things that we are now clearing from are being raped, being grabbed against your will, whether you're a man or a woman, being raped, you know, in any possible way that can happen. I don't need to describe it. If you have raped, if you have molested, if you have been molested, if you have been raped, if you have been anything of that nature, sexual violence. So not just genitalia like piercings and mutilations as far as according to, I forgot her name, who does higher realm holistic, she was saying even people that transform from male to female or female to male, transgender people, like that energy is a trauma. You know, it's such a trauma on a physical genitalia level. It's a trauma. But also circumcision is a trauma. You know, the clitoral ectomies that they do in Africa, that's a trauma. But everybody has something traumatic. Even if you are female and you had your period and no one remembered to frickin' tell you that was going to come, that you were going to have that. Pregnancy scares, being raped and getting pregnant from being raped, being forced into sex, even though it's not technically a rape, there's still like that. As a female, you know, we want to please, we're trained to please men, and sometimes on a date or something, men will push us, and it just feels easier just to frickin' give in than to say no. You know, you could keep saying no for 6 more hours, or if you just give in, he'll be over in 10 minutes and you could go home and clean yourself and cry for the next 2 weeks. I mean, I'm sorry to bring that up, Ben, but you know what? If you've ever pushed a woman into sex thinking that her lips say no, but her eyes say yes, like that kind of mentality, you know, a lot of women gave in just to get you off their fucking back, to be honest. Just to be honest. A lot of women I know have had to go through that crap. I was molested at work. My boss took me to his house because we were supposed to go somewhere to meet some other people, And he said, I got to pick up something. I got to pick up paperwork. So at his house, he's like, oh, can I get you a drink? Well, he freaking drugged me. And I woke up the next day naked in his bed, and his you-know-what was too small and his stomach was too big. So thank God that big fat Egyptian man didn't rape me, but he was trying. I woke up and I threw him across the damn room. I've been almost near raped many, 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 many times. Hashtag me too, motherfuckers. Not just the 3 or 4 people that are vocal on TV, okay? This is like literally, I think it's like 1 in 3 women or 2 out of 3 women will be assaulted or raped or grabbed or harassed sexually in their lifetime. But it's not just women. It's children. It's men. It's teenagers of both gender, all genders. Shouldn't say both, I should say all genders. Like 5, 6, I don't know how many genders we have now. But it's not just in the straight community, it's in the gay community. Most pedophiles are straight and white. Most of them. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I don't think they're white. Actually, in the United States, I think that was a statistic I had seen. But most pedophiles, 80%, are actually straight men. You know, so it's not in the gay community as much pedophilia, but it's still there. It's everywhere. This whole world has been so sick, and it's like we've been attacked deeply, profoundly, and profusely on that horrible second chakra level. And it plays to be a part of your identity. It forces you to victimize or be victimized. You know what I mean? Dog eat dog, or whatever that energy is. So what happened to me today was all of these things were shown to me across the whole frickin' world. The whole world. I don't think there's one human being that has been unaffected by this. There's a city in Colombia, I'm not going to say what, but a friend of mine I met in one of the bigger cities there, he broke down and he cried like a baby in my arms, and I put him through several sessions of hypnosis, and I gave him Reiki, because when he was a little boy, there was a man who literally raped everybody in town, up the butt, male or female, didn't matter. He raped all the kids, the little kids. And he paid the parents, oh, I'll watch your kids. And he would pay the parents. Or he would promise them, whatever he could, money, or, hey, I'll bring you some steaks on Saturday. I'll watch your kids this week. And he raped all the little boys. So there's a whole frickin' town where all of the men are messed up because of this one man. It was a very small pueblo. But when I heard this, and I had met other people from there, and they had that energy of being deeply, profoundly hurt and really ashamed and really embarrassed to be who they were. They didn't frickin' deserve it. They were just little boys. They grew up to be big men, and now they're scared. They either become a victimizer or they don't trust themselves. Well, how can they be good men for their women? Or if they're gay, for their men? You know what I mean? How can a whole community? And it's such a sickness. There's such a sickness. And I'm not going to just say in Colombia or in Peru. There's a lot of that crap going on in Peru. A lot of it in Guatemala. I mean, I knew a guy, he was kind of screwed up in the head because he had seen war over in Europe, and he was just trying to make a living, but he was really screwed up. And he went over to visit a friend in another local village at the lake, and he came upon 2 men trying to rape a young girl. And the story, from what I've heard from a lot of different people, was that he beat them up until he beat them to death, and then he buried their bodies, and no one ever said a word, and he saved that girl's life. That kind of thing is all over Central and South America. It's all over the U.S. People are being sold into sex trade, sex slavery. I mean, you listen to Corey Good stuff, the human race is being sold to aliens for sex slavery, and then sometimes it gets worse than that. I want to talk about it. Worse than that. worse than that. I mean, even where I live here, I mean, there's houses of ill repute. Prostitution is legal here. You know, a lot of young girls, they think they're stupid. They can't do anything better with their lives. So 14 years old, they start going into that, being prostitutes. It's really horrible. Horrible. So anyway, I didn't want to do the show on things that are going to make you super sad and upset and cry. But if you have any of those kinds of things going on, you have to forgive yourself. If you were a victimizer, you got to forgive the person who did this to you. You don't ever have to ever see them again, okay? But you have to forgive that it happened, that your soul somehow allowed that to happen. If it was in your soul contract to experience that kind of horrid behavior, it's shameful. It's a horrible thing. We've all been through various aspects of this. Some of us more than others. You know, and I've known people who never went through any of that at all. It's like, okay, cool. I knew somebody who told me he grew up as a little boy, about 8, 9 years old, and there was a man who would buy them all ice cream if he could suck them all off in a circle. They'd stand around, pull their pants down, and they were like, we don't know what the hell is happening now. This guy's weird, but hell, free ice cream. And he said it didn't really affect us because we just thought, well, yeah, he's just a freaking weirdo. Free ice cream, you know? I mean, it's weird. There's so many weird things. So all of this stuff, anything at all that, you know, anything at all that you have on that level, it's time to just take a collective deep breath and let it the hell go. Okay? You're not alone. It's not your fault. Crap that happened to you when you're a baby or a kid, it's not your freaking fault. You know, if a kid did this to you when you were a kid, that's the other thing, is someone was doing it to that kid as well. So it's not even that kid's fault, you know? Even if that kid is a few years old, I knew other kids that this was happening to from other kids. So it's just time to just take a collective deep breath and let it go. The sun, the energy of the sun, the soul of the sun is telling me right now, you can use the sun's energy. Pull that into your second chakra and your root chakra and just burn it up, baby. Burn it. Right now what's happening is with this solar flare that came down, it's being pushed through all of our DNA collectively, and we're being bathed in the light, literally. People talk about being bathed in the light of Jesus or bathed in the light of the Lord. It's literally, we're being bathed in the light of the sun, and it all comes from the grand central sun, which is where God is, yeah. So the big God of everything, all the universes, all the worlds, all the planets, all the dimensions, all the timelines. So let's take a big deep breath and let it go. I mean, even if you've been cheated on, someone broke your heart because they slept with somebody else, or they gave you a disease in the genitalia region, that is also part of that shameful genital energy that's coming through right now in the past like 3-4 days. But this one is that second chakra where you feel that heavy, horrible emotion coming from it. I think that might be where pain in the kidneys are coming from right now, where pain in the lower back is coming from right now, where pain in the butt literally is coming. People are having lower GI tract, intestinal stuff. I think that's what it's related to. So be honest with yourself. You don't have to tell anybody, you know, but be honest with yourself if that's truly what's happening. Just, you have to forgive the situation and you have to let it go. You have to be okay with it happening. You have to accept it. You don't ever have to accept it happening again, but you got to let it go. Also, this goes for people who have sexual addictions, pornography addictions, people who want to sleep with a lot of people, or people who want to sleep with other people in whole groups. There's a sickness going on, and I think a lot of those people had stuff that relates to childhood or past lives. And that's all coming out right now. We need to heal all that crap right now, okay? I just want you to sit with that healing vibration and that energy. You can always ask my higher self for healing Reiki energy. That will come to you immediately. It's below your feet right now. As I say this, it's below your feet. There is a pink grid. It's a very beautiful, high vibrational pink, a very loving kind of color that will make you laugh with joy if you could see it. And it's in a grid around the whole planet, and I helped set it up. I'm not the only contributor. There's other healers that are just pumping energy constantly, consistently, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Constantly that energy is going in. I'm healing anywhere from 17,000 to 25,000 at any given moment of my life. And I have been doing this for years. Years, okay? So that energy is there. Anytime anyone prays for healing, my energy goes and heals them. Not my energy, though. I shouldn't say it's mine. That's a mistake. It's a misspoken word. It's God's energy that goes through me. I'm an instrument of His will, His truth, His peace, and His light, and His healing energy. God is the ultimate doctor, the ultimate healer, the ultimate friend, the ultimate counsel. God knows all. He sees all. He knows what you've done. He knows what's been done to you. He knows where it all comes from. And He loves you and forgives you no matter what. And He loves and forgives the other person no matter what. I mean, if you consider that God forgave Hitler, God can forgive anything. Okay? And if you're Jewish or of Jewish descent, and that's hurtful to hear that, I'm sorry. It's hurtful for me to hear it, and I'm not Jewish. But my heart is there with the Jewish community more often than not. My heart is there with everybody, to be honest, regardless of religion or culture or language or color of skin or I don't know what. Whether you wear your hair in braids or you're bald or you have a ponytail, I don't know. It's like I'm with you no matter what. I love you no matter what. It's what we're here for, is to learn how to love every single person on the planet in a normal way. So we have to let all that stuff go. I'm sorry to bring it up because this is the last thing I want to freaking come up with on my show, but I have to follow when Spirit tells me something. I'm just the messenger. I am an angel. I was the angel of death before, and we don't lie. We can't lie about things like this. We have to tell the truth. When the truth comes forward like this and it's presented in such a freaking grand way, like for 2 whole hours, I was shown this. I was shown these things from around the world. And it's like this orange energy. It's orange. And we need to heal the orange energy. We need to heal it. We need to love it. If you've ever hated the color orange, it might be related to that. It's weird, but anyway, I love you guys. I wanted to give you this information. I'm going to take a quick break, okay? We all need a break from this, right? Let my commercial play out, and it's just like a minute long or something. Just let it play out. Go grab some water. You're probably dehydrated anyway, because that's the weird energy for this week, that everyone's become dehydrated. So don't grab yourself. God, that was like really bad word. Heard it after I said it. Yeah, that tracks. Anyway, no, I'm going to go ahead and grab a water. When I come back, I'm channeling Mary Curie. We're going to be talking about radiation tonight. We're going to be talking about what kind of radiation is good for us, what's bad for us, what to avoid, how do we protect ourselves, should we worry, she's going to talk about all of that to us now in a minute. So just let it play out. Please just let it play out, because I get paid 1 penny if you hear the commercial. You don't have to hear it. Just go to the bathroom, but don't skip over it, please. Because, like I said, I'm only making 1 penny. Okay. So I want to be able to keep going with the show. So that's my bare minimum thing I'm asking. Just let it play out. Yeah. Anyway, I love you, and I'll be right back. Okay. Hey, you. Have you ever thought about having your own podcast like me? Was it even a New Year's resolution? For me, it sure was. But as I've been looking into this for months, I was daunted. There's so many questions I had. When I was trying to get this off the ground, I was wondering, how do I record the episode? How do I get it across all the platforms? How do I get my podcast on Apple Podcasts when I don't even have an iPhone? How do I get it onto Spotify and all the other places? How do I get people to listen? And how do I make money from my podcast? How do I edit it? Oh my God, I had all these questions, and I was so confused until I discovered the simple answer is Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free, and it is ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcast. All you need to do is record it. You don't have to go out and look for people to advertise on your show. They help you. So basically what I like about podcasting is I don't have to have a video of myself. You don't know if my hair is dirty or if I'm still in my pajamas or even if I'm wearing makeup. Haha. And it's so easy. I could do this from the comfort of my own home in my living room using this amazing app right from my cell phone. So easy, right? So if you've always wanted to start your own podcast and make money, by the way, doing it, please go to anchor.fm/start. That is anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters that are already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast, and I can't wait to favorite you. Woohoo! Let's be broadcast podcast buddies. I'll see you there. All right, guys. I did want to say before we get into the Mary Curie part of the evening, please take all your energy from what I just talked about and just push it into the earth. Ask the earth for blessings to heal that energy. Ask the sun to clear up all the dross, all the negative, all the extra blech that's just hanging on. And then from your crown star chakra, 18 inches above your head, imagine it's like a little mini sun. It's going to come down and just bathe you with golden pure light that will help you heal from everything we just talked about. Okay. All right. I am connected to Madame Curie. I'm going to read to you a little bit about her life first, because this woman is an incredible woman, and she needs to be loved, honored, and celebrated for her important scientific work in the field of, believe it or not, radiation. She literally discovered that that's a thing. Okay? So I'm going to read to you a couple quotes from her that I just loved. The first one is, have no fear of perfection. You'll never reach it. It's true, right? Like, you're never going to be 100% perfect in 100% of the categories of life. And when we reach perfection, that's when we are fully ascended. We're self-realized masters. And even then, we might not be 100% perfect. Even in heaven, everybody has a flaw. Whether it's like a deformity or a limp, or everybody has something. Everyone has something that they pick, you know? And think about now, everyone has something that they don't like. Whether it's a mole on their face or discoloration of their skin or, you know, I don't know, maybe a bald spot on their head. You know, for me, it was asthma. That was my thing. Everyone else could run and play and I couldn't. Everybody has something. So I thought that was a good one. Don't fear, have no fear of perfection. You'll never reach it. It sounds a little rude. It's kind of like a... She's laughing. She's like, that's not how I meant it at all. Like, well, it kind of seems like a slam, right? It's kind of a diss, but it's a disrespect. Anyway, another thing that she said is, nothing in life is, the other one, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that was it. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Yeah, I love that. Don't fear anything. Just understand it. If you have fear of something, maybe it's something you need to study. You need to understand it. If you're afraid of spiders, maybe you need to learn more about spiders. If you have a fear of snakes, go learn about snakes. When I first was afraid of snakes when I was a kid, I thought they were slimy and it freaked me out so much. I thought they maybe felt like touching snot or something. Which is thoroughly disgusting, but they're not. Usually snakes feel very dry. They're cold to the touch and they feel very, very smooth. You know, a little bit cool, but very smooth and very soft. It's not something you would expect. You'd expect the scales feel kind of hard and crusty and weird and maybe a little slimy, but they don't. They actually feel nice. That was one of my first steps I took to not be afraid of snakes anymore, was that. So anyway, she was an incredible woman, and I'm going to give you not everything, but just a little bit, okay? So Marie Curie was born as Marie Sklodowska Curie. She is French and Polish. She was born in Poland, but she's also a naturalized French physicist. So she lived in France, and even though she's Polish, she's born in France, I think, or no. Sorry, she's born in Poland, but I guess she would naturalize, meaning she emigrated to France and became a citizen, and that's where she did all of her scientific work. So she was born the 7th of November, 1867. She died July 4th. Woo, Independence Day. Well, not of her country, but, the U.S. In 1934, she passed away. She was a chemist, and she conducted pioneering research on radioactivity. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. Okay, that's awesome. And she is the first person and only woman to win the Nobel Prize twice. 2 times. Oh my God. That's freaking incredible. And she is the only person to win a Nobel Prize in 2 different sciences. She's part of the Curie family legacy of 5 Nobel Prizes in her family. Talk about having a spiritual contract. She was also the first woman to become a professor at the University of Paris. In 1995, she became the first woman to be entombed on her own merits in the Pantheon in Paris. So when she was born in Warsaw, Poland, that was still part of the Russian Empire. It was that long ago. And she did study at the Flying University, which was a clandestine university in Warsaw. She wasn't supposed to be there, but she learned anyway. And she followed her older sister to Bronislawa at the age of 24 to study in Paris. She earned her higher degrees and conducted her subsequent scientific work. In 1903, she shared the Nobel Prize in Physics with her husband, Pierre Curie, and physicist Henri Becquerel. She won the 1911 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. So, basically among her achievements, she is included the development of the theory of radioactivity, and she coined that phrase, by the way. She made up that word, so pretty frickin' cool, okay? This is a beautiful woman. She was ahead of her time, and she is owed a lot because we know all we know about radiation, radioactivity because of her, okay? So she learned techniques to isolate radioactive isotopes. She discovered 2 elements, polonium and radium. Under her direction, the world's first studies into the treatment of plasms were conducted using radioactive isotopes. And that's how we use radioactive isotopes to find a lot of different things wrong in the blood, like to look at tumors to see if they're cancerous or not, to see what's going on with like the thyroid, for example. There's a lot of things that we do medically in the world today in Western medicine that is directly attributed to Madame Marie Curie. So she founded the Curie Institute in Paris and in Warsaw, which remain the major centers of medical research today. During World War I, she developed mobile radiography units that provided X-rays services to field hospitals. So she taught her daughters the Polish language because she never wanted them to lose their Polish identity, because she was proud to be Polish. Or she was proud to be Polish, okay? She took them on visits regularly to Poland, and she named the first chemical element that she discovered polonium, named after her country of Poland. I did not know that. That is super cool. She died at the age of 66 in 1934 at a sanatorium in France called Saint-Célimont, and she died of aplastic anemia from exposure to radiation because of her scientific research. So she literally gave up her life to the world to learn about stuff so that we could be safe from radiation. It's because of her radiological work at field hospitals in World War I and of her scientific research. That is what basically, it's kind of what killed her. So she is here with me right now. Her spirit, of course, she passed away, as I mentioned, a long time ago, almost 100 years ago, 80 years ago, 90 years ago. 95 years ago exactly. Yeah, okay. She's here with me now. I'm going to try to channel her. I'm going to ask her some questions, and she wanted to speak to humanity. Hello, Marie Curie. Hello. She says hello to all. She's excited to be here. Ooh, she has a beautiful light and bright, I should say, radiating energy about her. Oh, I like her energy. It makes me feel bubbly inside. Hi, how are you? She says, I'm very well, thank you. Now that I'm no longer suffering from radiation, thank you. Yes, exactly. I wanted to address the people today in regards to radiation. Your world is exposed to more radiation than ever before, and more is coming. Okay, what do you mean by that? Not only from nuclear meltdowns and accidents, but also from cell phone towers. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, we are very concerned about this. Also, there's natural sediments in the ocean. Oh, no way. We can see from here, meaning heaven, that as the tectonic plates in the ocean are moving and shifting, there will be more radiation that naturally occur will be exposed into the waters of the oceans. And it's going to start affecting the fish life. Oh my God. Okay. And so what should we be concerned about? And what else is there? As you know, you are being bombarded by the sun. So you see it from the grand central sun too? Okay, yeah, I'm making double sure that I'm not just pulling this out of my subconscious. It's really from her. So she says, we're being bombarded by the grand central sun through our sun with radiation. But this is cosmic radiation, and it is of a different type. It is not the same as what you get through nuclear radiation or natural occurring uranium, which is in the ground and being mined for various purposes all over the planet right now. Okay. Number one radiation you have to and must be concerned about at all times is, for example, the Japanese nuclear meltdown that occurred, and it's affecting all of your oceans right now. We are tracking this in heaven. The scientists are very concerned about the levels of radiation in the ocean and the consumption of fish. Thank you. I do eat tuna. I am always concerned about this. I try not to eat more than 1 can a week. My kid has, I only buy like 4 cans every 2 weeks, and I mean, he just ate 2 cans last week. I'm worried about him. She says, as well you should be. Certain tuna caught in certain parts of the ocean, and eventually the whole ocean will be affected. Tuna carries more radiation than other fish, but all the fish will carry it, as well as deadly levels of mercury in time. And other sediments? And other sediments that are deadly, as well as, she's saying, okay, look, just basically don't eat fish very often. What about freshwater fish? Depends on where it's caught. Freshwater fish is okay. If the farming practices of fish farms are, I don't know what word you're saying, coherent? If the farmers are coherent, if their minds are strong and their fish is being taken care of correctly, buying from farms will be okay. But there's other kinds of pollution and runoff that can affect fish farms. You got to be careful where they're getting their water for their fish. Oh my God. Well, this just does not sound like a whole lot of good news. And may I call you Manya? She says yes, she may. Manya was her nickname when she was alive. Her brothers and sisters called her Manya. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to call her Manya. Okay, Manya. What else do we need to know? You have to protect yourself. The best thing I can say is eat vegetables that are not radiated, not irradiated. If you grow them yourself, is that best? Yes, she said, yes, that's okay. As long as the soil is not irradiated. In places certain places in Russia, you have to be so careful. And there is radiation throughout Europe, scattered in little tracts of land. There's a lot. Is that from the x-rays? It's still there? Oh my God. She says like from World War I, World War II, where there were x-rays given, precautions they were minimal at best, and there are still some places where this occurred where there's still radiation in the ground. Throughout, she's saying like throughout Warsaw, throughout Poland, throughout different parts where the medical units were. So you have to be so careful if you grow vegetables in a garden in a house where there used to be x-rays, that could still be in your vegetables. You can still grow vegetables there if you import the soil and you lift up your garden beds and you have raised garden beds. Is there anything we could put in the soil that you know of to stop the radiation? No, unfortunately, no, I do not. I feel that in 50,000 years, maybe it will be better. Maybe 50 million. As long as the radiation is able to decrease at a stabilized rate and dissipate through time. It's going to take a lot of patience, and people don't have that kind of patience because we don't live 50,000 years. So, right, exactly. But there are things, precautions, and measures you can take if you have been exposed to radiation, whether large amounts or small, that will protect your health. You want to prevent getting cancer due to radiation. Okay, so what do? You're saying iodine? Okay, she says take an iodine supplement, but like drops of iodine? Okay, but don't take it in salt. Even though that might be considered a good source, salt is not that healthy for you. Really? She's saying salt can lower your immune system, your immunity. If you have overloading your body with salt, it can hurt your immune system. I did not ever hear that. I heard it can raise your blood pressure and give you problems with your heart. She says, yes, that too. But it can lower your immune system to have too much salt. And that leaves you more exposed to take on greater amounts of radiation. If you live in areas in which radioactivity is in the ground. Really, you're saying near Sandia in New Mexico? Yeah, different parts in the southwest of the United States has a great deal of radiation. What about Peru? Because I love to go sandboarding. If someone says, what is your sport, Elena? I'm going to say, okay, going down a sand dune face first, laughing my head off. I love sandboarding. I just discovered it last year or 2 years ago, and it was the best. But I wondered while I was there if that wasn't a nuclear site, maybe from thousands of years ago. Do you know about that? She said, yes, I do. So you said it's a naturally occurring sand dune. That doesn't even make sense in Peru because it's so close to the jungle. She says, yeah, it's just an anomaly. It was not created by radiation. Thank God. I thought the whole time I'm like laughing my head off. I'm being radiated like an idiot. Gee, no wonder my teeth are so bright and glow in the dark. She says, no, thank God, no, that's not happening there. Oh, and she says there are radiation sites to be aware of in Africa, in parts of Africa, throughout any time in the old days when they had X-ray sites in Africa, that radiation is still in the ground. Anywhere, she says even in Japan, there's a lot of problems in Japan. Throughout Asia, but Japan is the worst when it comes to radiation. What about New Zealand, Australia? Some sites in Australia due to X-rays. Okay. New Zealand? No, New Zealand is okay for the most part. Okay, so what do? 10 liquid drops of iodine, up to 12 drops per day, twice a day, just once a day. Okay, 12 drops of iodine once a day, 10 to 12 drops of iodine. For how long? You say 6 weeks, or until symptoms are alleviated. And then what? Once the symptoms resolve themselves, maintenance 5 to 6 drops a day for another 6 weeks. And then after that, no, you could stop, but keep it on hand in case it happens again. Now, is this if we eat 1 can of radiated tuna? Yes. Only if you eat 1 can of radiated tuna, guys. What are the symptoms of having that radiation, and how do you know you've eaten radiated food? Well, you literally feel like a glowing sensation in your hands or in your heart. Maybe a little fluttering sensation like heart palpitations. You kind of can't catch your breath. Your mind gets a little fuzzy. Okay, honestly, I know it's going to sound like Ascension symptoms, you guys, but if you have eaten tuna and then you feel this, it also might be radiation poisoning. It depends on where the tuna was swimming in the ocean. And you can't say for sure if it was caught off the coast of one country that it also did not swim through radiated waters. So you have to be very, very cautious with your food. Don't eat this every day because you just don't know. You never know. Okay, so is there anything else besides eating fresh vegetables and iodine? Is there anything else we need to know? Yes, concerning cosmic sun, direct sunlight, rays from the sun, are they bad for us? No, actually. This is good energy. This is cleansing your nervous systems. It's cleansing your brains really from aluminum deposits. That's what she said, aluminum deposits. And other metals in the body will be dissipated through the cosmic radiation coming our way now. Oh, I have a metal rod in my leg because I had surgery. Now, in the case of that, will it dissolve that? No, it won't. Oh, okay, darn. I kind of wanted to. I don't want surgery to have it removed, so. She's like, that's between you and your doctor. That's not what I'm talking about. But she's talking about when we eat something that might have metal in it, when it gets deposited in the brain, that's now being dissolved by the cosmic radiation. It's cleansing you and your subtle bodies all the way to the core of your being, all the way down to your bones, and even your soul is being cleansed by the cosmic radiation right now. Don't be alarmed by this, and don't confuse it or mistake it for the other types of radiation, because the way it reacts in your body, it's more spiritual, it's different. But be cautious. A cautionary tale is you've been out in the sun and you've gotten sunburned. Don't stay that long in the sun. The gamma rays can go through houses and clothing, even leather boots with metal on the toes. Cosmic radiation, that's good for you. The gamma rays change your DNA. You don't have to worry. It's going to reach you. Even if you live underground, it's going to reach you. It could go through the entire planet. You don't have to stand in the sun. Some people on your planet, especially in the New Age movement, think that they have to be outside in the sun a lot to receive the good cosmic radiation, but then they receive the UV light, the UVB, the UVA, and now you're saying the UVH? Is that something we don't even know about? Whoa. Yeah, and the UVH. All the different bands and frequencies of light coming from the sun, some will harm your skin, some can harm more, but if you're inside, you're going to get the good radiation no matter what. Okay. Should we worry about the bad sunlight if we're inside? No, of course not. You're fine. Okay. She's saying now, as far as the lotions that you're slathering on your skin to prevent or help yourself from the radiation of the sun that will cause damage, skin damage, and can cause cancer to you, she says, don't bother using them. They're just as bad as the sunlight itself in some cases. It's better to wear long sleeve t-shirts, lightweight jackets that cover your skin. Only be in the sun for how long? Not more than 25 minutes? Yeah. Don't go out in the sun more than 25 minutes at a time. What if you're a surfer? You want to surf? Well, that's why there's wetsuits. And in that case, I guess you have to maybe use the lotion. It's better than being bombarded, but just be careful with your diet. Spinach can be very helpful if it's grown in a non-radiated place. Spinach is very good for you. The healthy dark greens, you can get a supplement of chlorophyll, you're saying? Yes. Chlorophyll, alfalfa, wheatgrass, spirulina too, and spirulina, all of those kinds of things. When you think dark green powder that you're a little bit afraid to drink, those are actually good for you. They will help your thyroid. They will help your radiation. You keep with a healthy vegetable diet. You can eat meat. I'm not saying you have to be a vegetarian, but just be careful. Be careful where your meat comes from. Be careful about the ocean fish, because pretty soon we see the tectonic plates moving and there will be more uranium-based polonium and other things. Radium, everything is going to be directly underneath. She's saying like the mantle or the crust of the earth. And when things start to shift a little more, when we have earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, even hurricanes, things are starting to stir up in the ocean. And the scientists on the planet have not yet discovered these things. So to be very, very careful. All right. Anything else you need to tell us? Love yourself, and from your heart, allow your radiation. And in this case, I mean the radiating of your love, your joy, and your peace will help a lot of people. Don't panic. Don't be afraid of radiation. She says, but the 5G network, I would stay away from it if I can't help it. If I was there, I would not want to be a part of it. What about orgonite? Do you know about orgonite? Yes, I do. She says, I'm so glad you brought that up. She's like flailing her arms about, like she's so excited. Like, I forgot about that. I forgot to bring it up. So will that help us? Will orgonite help us against the 5G network? Yes. She says, grid your house with it. Remember every week to clean each piece of orgonite though. Run it under water for 30 seconds. The cloud busters, all the things that Wilhelm Reich did. He was a marvelous man. He's a close personal friend of mine. And we've talked at great length about the scientific evidence for it, especially here in heaven. We've got evidence that this works that you guys don't have down there yet. So that does work. What about right frequencies? Do you know if that works? Yes. She's laughing. She's like, now you're getting it. Not all frequencies are bad. In fact, some are very healing and good. And the right frequencies, can cure cancer. What about if you do get radiated, can you use right frequencies for that? She says, yes, you can, but you have to supplement it with greens, and you have to get away from the source of where the radiation came from in the first place. Otherwise, it's not going to be as effective. Is there anything else you need to tell us? Yes. Get a good, clean source of water. Drink lots of water. What about salt? Are you saying to stay away from salt? Himalaya crystal salt is good? And you're saying Cusco salt is good? So what about, so are all the pink salts around the world good? Yes, for the most part. Stay away from sea salt, again, because of the radiation. A lot of people think sea salt is healthy for you. Yes, it is on the mineral level, but not the radiation anymore. I'm so sorry to say that. I loved the oceans and I enjoyed the beach when I was there on Earth, and I missed it. I missed being in that realm and going to the beach. There was no greater joy for me than to feel the sun on my skin and the water on my toes and having the waves crash against my body. And it makes me very saddened to think that you guys are having a hard time with your oceans, that you could be radiated just to have a fun day at the beach. Please be careful even when you're in the water at the beach because of the radiation quality. Be careful. Be aware of where there is radiation in your world. Don't go to the beach in Japan, for example. Stay away from Chernobyl, for example. Any place there's been a nuclear meltdown, you need to stay away from those places. Don't go on the tour. There's tour groups now to go to these places, and it gets very dangerous. People start to feel their heart palpitate when they get too close to it, and they don't realize that long after they leave, it's going to affect them. You can get cancer from this. You have to be very careful. You could prevent cancer with diet, and you got to get the iodine out, and you got to get the radiation out of your thyroid. It can cause a whole world of problems for you. Please be careful. Please be careful in your world. We are scientists in heaven working to help the good of humanity. We're trying to beam down the information using telepathy in our telepathic thoughts, and we try to give people good dreams, especially in the scientific realm and the scientific community. It's not always effective. So we decided to take another route, and I know it's funny for a metaphysical channeler to channel a scientist like me, because I was a serious scientist, but we are trying every way we can to get in touch with you guys. Until we can build a telephone between your world and ours, these are the methods that we have to use. We have to be spiritually creative while being scientifically diligent. But we love you. We love all of humanity. The reason we became scientists was to help our world, explore our world, and help all of humanity. And that's what I sacrificed my life for, using radiation. It was exciting. It was brilliant for me to discover. I wasn't afraid of it, even though I knew that my days would be numbered. And I lived a good long age to be 66 and have been exposed so long to radiation. But I ate my vegetables. I ate a lot of greens. I tried very hard. I stayed away from animal fats and animal products. I ate some meat, of course. I had some butter, of course, but I tried to limit my animal fats because I felt that would contribute to more ill health, and I would have died in my 50s or my 40s maybe. I tried to stick with taking the vegetables that were from the sun's radiation. Again, the solar radiation is okay. It's in all the plants. It's almost like you're eating packets from the love of God in each individual cell, in each individual plant. It's okay to eat that. Eat it as much as you can. I cannot encourage enough eating of the greens. But I must go now. I wish all of humanity the best. And I know you're ascending now. We are so excited in heaven to know that you guys are raising up closer to us. Someday we hope to meet you in the middle. And she's smiling and she's just kind of radiating, and she says, with all my heart, I am here for you always. If you wish to connect with me via telepathy directly, I will always be here to answer questions if you need me. Because my work was important, but it's not over. Just because you die, it does not mean your work ends. And I'm still working here in heaven with the same exact problems and ideas and issues that I had when I was still alive. I want to save humanity if I can. So she says, blessings and best wishes. All right, guys. Well, that's all it is for today. I love you with my whole heart, mind, body, and soul. This was kind of a healing episode. So eat some greens, drink a lot of good, healthy water, not from an irradiated source, of course. Don't spend 1,000,000 hours in the sun. 10 minutes is fine every day. A couple days a week, maybe 10 minutes, I'm a redhead. I absorb the sun immediately, so I don't need as much. But 10 minutes a day, they say, maybe 5. 5 is okay. Anyway, write me at metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com. Listen to me anytime at anchor.fm/metaphysical. Send me voice messages there as well. Some of my episodes don't show up on all platforms, such as YouTube for my YouTubers. If you're going to be listening to me on YouTube, there's 3 or 4 extremely interesting episodes that are too long, and Spreaker did not send them to YouTube. Go to my anchor.fm/metaphysical to see I have some really good episodes that are a little extra long. They're channeling. I have a lot of channeling episodes. I think one of them is Master Merlin, one of them is Jesus and Mother Mary. I do a lot of channeling. You have to go to my Anchor site to see most of it. But anyway, that's all for now. I will be back with more unique and, I don't know, hopefully interesting topics and content tomorrow. I don't know what's going to be. Every day is different. But I love you all. So right now, I'm signing off with peace and joy and the radiating love of the cosmic central sun and the high vibes of the holy 5th dimension. Until next time, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.